Hello, and welcome to Mystic Revolution, another episode, and actually our last episode of this season, season 2. We have had a focus on mastering your energy, and we've covered so many things about how to master energy within us and around us. We talked about the great work, and so please look back at these previous episodes. But today we're going to hone in on how do you dance your own dance in this energy mastery, in these capabilities, in these ways of tuning into things. So it's very exciting. But before we do that, let's just drop into a little meditation. As we do, take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. And just allow yourself a moment to settle into yourself. And let's drop our attention into our heart space, right into the heart space, and see if you can envision, imagine, tune into the idea of a beautiful ball of light in your heart. And see if you can let that ball of light get a little bit bigger. And invite yourself to open up that pure essence of you. Allow that to open up. And from that space of pure you, place of your heart, place of your power, put down a grounding cord down through your torso, down through your root chakra, down through the chair, the floor, to the center of the earth. And let your own heart connect with the heart of the earth. And in that connection, allow your body to drink in earth energy. If you have your feet on the floor, you can allow your feet to drink in that energy, but just let it come up into you. That beautiful heart of Mother Earth, connecting with your own heart, grounded and centered. And just for a moment, notice the edges of your body. In your groundedness, notice where your physicality ends and the rest of the world begins. And then let's take a moment to connect in from our heart space, our illuminated heart, up to the sun source, or if it's easier for you to allow that divine source energy to come down into you and connect into your own heart, do that. And then see if you can expand that energy in your body. And let that source energy, sun energy, divine energy fill you up. Almost like you are a beautiful being of light. That energy filling you up all the way to the edges of your physicality. And then maybe radiating beyond. All right. Let's take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Thank you, Susana.
Well, thank you. And I'm so glad to be here to wrap up this wonderful season that we've had and to take a moment to talk about, touch on some of the things that we played with over this season, but how to really, really play with them, live with them, work with the tools and principles that we've talked about, right? Because mastering your energy is really about, understanding how to use the energy that is within you and around you. So I know you have some wonderful things to say about that, Wendy.
I do. And I want to leverage what you're saying already. It's not just thinking about these things, hearing about these things, reading about these things, talking about these things. It's actually experiencing and practicing within our souls And if you're listening and you know how to do that, then I hope that you're doing that while we talk. And I hope you're doing that, when you sit and when you have your life. And if you're not equipped for that, or if you want more deep how to play, we offer stuff. So come play with us, please. Everything that we're talking about here is a soul experience. And all the ways that Susana and I interact with these are both energies or blessings from heaven and earth and practices. And we talked about this when we talked before the great work. We talked about the yes, I can energies, but all the energies, whatever it is, the great magnificence that I was just experiencing in this meditation, it's here, and I can say hello to it. I can work with it in my system, practice, and let it wave out into my world. And so the two things that I want to talk about today really come down to, you can say carrot and stick. The first is the carrot. Really, what is it like to allow this flow for ourselves and our world? This yummy carrot. And then when the stick comes and the resistance comes and the yuck comes, like a little hello to that, because that's part of our experience too. So that's my general thought about today. Do you have anything to say about that, Susana, before we go on?
No, please go. I mean, I have some things to say, but I know you're on a train of thought, so you go ahead and I'll
Okay.
jump in.
Okay. So I want to start with this picture that we use a lot, the sun shining or the waterfall coming through, the river coming from the earth, this waterfall of blessing that we're in. And let's just talk about being in the waterfall of blessing of sovereignty, which is the focus of this whole thing we're doing, that we are mastering our energy, that what we say goes in our space, and from there in our body into our body, life, and world. This can be a most amazing experience and something that can really change our relationship with how we live and make such a difference. It can also be used in harmful ways. If it's just this theory of, well, I'm in charge, get out of my way.
Yes.
So it's just so important that with all these vibrations, certainty, sovereignty, I'll talk about sovereignty, so that I am the queen of my space. If I'm in that vibration, if I'm in that practice, it means that everyone in my field, everyone in my family, everyone around me, you and I, Susana, are together in the waterfall of sovereignty. And it's not my sovereignty, it's sovereignty. It's
It's
divine
sovereignty.
sovereignty. And
Yeah.
therefore, you are in sovereignty, and I am in sovereignty. And so
Yes.
I'm the dad ass over here, you're the ass over there. And like, if someone's saying, "Oh, I'm in sovereignty" or "I'm in certainty," but they're not inviting everybody else to the game, that's not spiritual blessing. That's not spiritual sovereignty or spiritual certainty. It's not.
Yeah. It's the opposite. And I think it helped me to understand it more when really that idea, I mean, which you said, I mean, we are all connected. It begins with that.
Yeah.
And we are all connected. And I mean, for a long time, it took me a long time to even like sort of allow myself to be connected, be in that mix. For me, it was more of a worthiness issue. Can we allow ourselves to be worthy enough
Yeah.
to be in this field of interconnectedness and sovereignty?
Yeah.
And and that is, you know, the blessing. Can we allow ourselves to have that blessing? Because I think when we don't allow ourselves to have that blessing, then we get to what you're talking about, where things get wonky. We're operating out of our shadow, and we talked a lot about that in a previous episode. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And we're also acting out of like ego,
ego. Yeah.
instead of actually being in the river of the unbelievable spiritual blessings we're talking about. And it's so easy to just think about it, or okay, that's true now because I had a thought. And that's just, it's just, that's a taste. They may be a taste, but to actually live in that river is to recognize that we're all in the river.
We're all in the river. It's like humbly powerful. It's like vulnerable sovereignty, if you will, right? It's like um, you've gone through the phases of the great work that we talked about probably many times, right? So it's it allows for that real deep understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, and then at the end of the Yes, I Can episodes, we talked about like we come to be like in charge, the captain of our ship. We start
Yeah.
to really live from the inside out this energy mastery that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And from there naturally follows soul leadership, where our natural gifts are unpacking, we're unveiling the light, but also we're being these things into the world.
Mm.
And it's like a picture for that is that I'm the river with everyone about all these blessings, right? So, but we all tend to have like dry suits on, we all tend to be like super protected from the water and in boats and stuff. It's like we're in the river, but we can't be with it because lots of reasons.
Right.
And what the soul leader does, what the energy mastery person starts to do is in front of everybody, take off all the layers, get out of the boat, get into the water, take off the dry suit, be wet, be wet in front of everybody else, and have them see, look, this is our birthright, and this is not hard, and you are invited. Come play, come drink. Here's a cup of water. Come drink.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so
Yeah.
that kind of puts it all together. It's like okay, I'll talk to healers right now, big healers, lovers, givers. We tend to be like, well, I want everybody to have it,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to have it unless everybody has it. And I was stuck on that for a long time. And it's like, okay, what I work with healers now, and I'm sure you do too. It's like, if we allow it for ourselves, if we show them how it's done, they'll do it too. They'll just match it. They'll be like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's easy. I'm out of my own way and I didn't even realize it. I'm wet.
And I'm also going to say the idea, and I mean, you just said it, but I I relate to it very well. I'm not going to allow myself to have it if others don't have it either.
Yes.
That's your own resist. There's some resistance there.
Yeah.
It's also this idea of lack,
Yeah.
and um, for me, I'll just speak to it as like perpetuating this idea of being in that protective suit or numbing myself from um being truly authentic in the world. And we've talked about authenticity. It's not just like blasting everything you want and all your feelings all the time out in the world. It's not that. Right. It's
Right.
allowing the truth of your soul
Yes.
to be the driver.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. To Jesus, it's take the bushel off the light.
I've not
But
ever heard that before,
oh
but
yeah,
yeah.
you are the light of the world. So
Oh, that, yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So take the
yeah.
bushel off, the light shade off the light, and then we can be seen. So there tends to be a tripping, and some of us tend to trip on. I'll just use love. Maybe it's easier to hear this way. I just want to love them, love them, love them. Well, I can't be in the blessing of love for them unless I'm in it too. It's like all or nothing.
Right.
And the same thing, the other people are like, I want, just give me the love. I need it. I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. And it's like, unless we're sharing it, unless they're in it too, it's not really there. So these are the two sides of the letting the waterfall of blessing flow. And a lot of it is just getting over ourselves.
Right. And that goes back to the connectedness with all things. And you know, one of the I have I get a lot of my spiritual connectedness, my practices revolve around nature. And I mean, I know you love nature too, but that interconnectedness with nature and the spirit of nature, at least it has been for me a place where I can understand the pure essence of love, um, and
Yes.
find that commonality. Yeah,
Yes. And the
yeah,
lack of invalidation. I love
yeah,
being in nature because it doesn't invalidate me. It lives in the truth and it's not always pretty, but it's real.
yeah. It's totally real.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it never tells me I suck.
No.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it's in the, I mean, what when it's really happening, when we're really in the flow of the goodness, then it's us and them. And so it makes it easier to do lots of things. Like if I'm in soul certainty, I'm honoring my truth, and I'm honoring your truth. And some people are like, how do you do that? It's like, well, if I allow the spiritual blessing of it to heal me and shift and practice it, I can't not do it.
right.
There's no trying. There's no should. It's just this is what it looks like. This is the litmus test. If I am saying my truth is valid for me, and your truth is not valid for you, you better believe what I say. That's a litmus test of like I'm not really in spiritual certainty.
Yeah.
I'm in
And
domination.
yeah, I'm in domination. I have to be right or something, right? And there's just something quite exquisite about the idea that we can hold our certainty. We can be in that love vibration. We can be in the um, the energy of this interconnectedness and be present to someone who has a radically different experience, a
Yes,
radically different opinion, a radically different idea of the world without making them wrong, without shaming them, without demanding that, our point of view be acknowledged.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that's, it doesn't just change us and our direct relationships, but it really changes the world, and it helps us all to a tipping point where it just becomes normalized
Yeah.
that we can hold multiple perspectives. We can mature and become energy masters to really allow. And you've talked about this to me before, a binocular view, multi view, and then we can perceive better together
We
if we let.
can. I love that. We can perceive better together. And, you know, that allows for a much richer experience, right? The allowing the multiple perspectives. I also think, I mean, obviously, it cuts out this divisive energy that that's kind of flying all over the place.
Yeah.
It also really minimizes confusion, right? I mean, people get so confused, are confused already. And then if I'm not allowing you, if we're together and I'm just sort of demanding that what your experience is wrong or it's weird or shameful or
Yes.
whatever, it's not helping you come to any conclusions about anything. It's not helping us resolve anything. When we
Yes.
can both just stand together, be who we are, fully who we are, and what we're experiencing together. I mean, the possibilities of what can come out of that are amazing.
Yes. But I do want to just rattle off a few things that I think are important fruit of this kind of practice, that
Yes.
to encourage us to say yes to this delicious waterfall. And I also want to say that you and I both, in the work that we do, we help people be able to stand here and to be able to hold multiple perspectives with ease, and be present with
Yeah.
each other. So so these practices, they do help us be able to not just on the physical, but actually soul read together and get a very rich picture. They help us have healthy relationships and communication that actually works, and isn't manipulative or whatever. It helps us to, like I said, kind of get over ourselves. And that could be getting over our self-righteousness, or my perspective is winning, or the false humility of, okay,
Yeah.
what you say goes.
Yeah.
It really allows us to be in true community and a society that works, as you were talking to. We really need it.
And
And,
space for healing.
yes,
And
space for healing, and there's space for, there's a lot of talk in the spiritual space these days of oneness or love, 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 oneness, oneness. And that's not bad. It's just this brings it to reality,
yes.
because there's a lot of talk of oneness, love, love, love. Shut up and listen to me, or you have it wrong.
Yes.
With all respect, that's what's going on.
No, I understand. It's kind of, I mean, it's hilarious. And I understand it. I mean, I think it's part of, you know, how we evolve and mature in this. And when we can just hold that for ourselves without anything,
Yeah, it's just love.
it's just
Hello.
love. Hmm.
We don't even have to talk about it. Being it is really much more powerful.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
So happy break, y'all. We'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Hey, friends. Susana and I want to remind you that we offer a Mystic Revolution meditation. It's the first Tuesdays at 4:30 Pacific. Please come as our guest. You can see our website for the link. And thank you for playing with us.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Hi, and welcome back. Wendy's going to start talking about a stick.
Bam, bam, bam. I just really like it's easy to remember, right? If everything's energy and practice, and then what we're saying hello to is the carrot, and we're clearing the stick. Everything is a hello and goodbye, as far as I'm concerned. So this is the goodbye part at the end of our session. That makes sense, at the end of our time. So I really want to talk about that. Of course, we invite in love, or we invite in whatever, sovereignty. And what happens? What happens is pushback. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that happens, that's a known thing in psychology. It happens in relationships. Melody Beattie, back in the 80s, she talked over and over about, you make change, and then everything and everyone around you, including yourself, says, change back, change back. It's just resistance. And Stephen Pressfield has great work on this. I highly recommend. He started with the War of Art, and went from there. A lot on resistance, and that can show up in so many different ways. But it might not always feel like resistance. It might feel like I'm not good enough, or I'm too good for this, or I should have. I see this a lot with spiritual people who have been a long time meditating or taking certain trainings. They're just like, I know this already.
Yeah.
Or I healed this already. It's like, with all respect, you healed a layer of it, probably. And because it's showing up again. Or else we wouldn't be talking about it.
Simply by you saying that, it showed up again. Yeah. And or, I mean, that's the thing, right? Everything, even if you've done it or meditated 1,000 times and you think there's always more. It's just there's always more to explore and learn and see. And that's what's so exciting, I think.
Yes, I think so too. It's,
Yeah.
we can be curious, we can be interested, we can be open to another layer of
Yeah.
overcoming, another layer of becoming, another layer of how do I come to fruition in the world? How can I bring this fruit to others? Like, there's just so much available. So
I think that's a really important message to keep in mind, right? Because, I have been in this place, and I work with people who are like, oh my God, here I go again. I'm doing this again, or I'm
yes,
feeling depressed again, or
yes,
I'm feeling, and resistance to whatever it is that you are trying on new. And just the idea that as you move, as you evolve, right, there are going to be times where you have these moments where your body wants to go inward and it feels like depression. You're feeling a lot of tension because you really are stretching yourself. And if we can think about that, that it is part of the process, it can be temporary if we
Yes.
remember that it can be, yeah, then we can move through it more easily.
Yeah. Yeah. And stuff we call it come up and out to clear.
Yeah.
And when that stuff is coming up and out to clear, it's hell. There's a little bit of like, this really sucks. This is the exact pain or fear or shame or whatever darkness that I have been running from.
Yeah.
But it's just, coming out to detox.
Yeah.
But so it's just so important. The most important thing I want to say in this conversation is to not get stuck or stopped. It's like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm doing this, and now all hell is happening in, all I can see, all I can touch and taste is this black or whatever. And it's like, that's the most important time not to stop.
Yeah. Keep going into the black.
We're detoxing. The detox starts to come out. It's horrible. Like, you don't want to stop detoxing. That's let the river flow. Let the river flow. Like just staying in the practice. Even if I do, yes, we might need to rest. Yes, we have these things called growth periods, which we need to attend to. The body needs this, the body needs that to make it through these rapids. Great. Yeah. But the temptation is, I don't like it. It hurts. It's uncomfortable. I have to stop. And that's the very time where we're just about to poop out what we need. And we're just going to stay constipated if we don't.
Poop out
or to get scatological.
Bust through, whatever. Bust through the
right.
ceiling,
But they say the only way out is through. And so it's like, instead of being like, oh, I'm falling into depression again. Well, I will if I stop.
You're right.
But what I really, it's so important. Like I say to people, like, just do whatever it takes. So there's the energy practices. If that's not working, you're freaking out. Okay, well, call a friend who makes you laugh.
Yes.
Watch a funny movie. Go for a run. Like move the energy however you can.
Yeah.
And it will be a different world on the other side of letting that yuck come out. Whereas if we stop, then I'm asphyxiating in it and I'm seeing through it and I'm feeling through it and I'm creating through it. And that's exactly what we don't want.
Yeah. And it can call up old ways of thinking even more, right? And it's not, it actually could mean you're not falling backwards. You're actually really on the brink of like moving forward into something
extraordinary.
Yes. Thank you for the word.
Yeah. So this is, we're in cycles and cycles happen, and just understanding that can help. And also if somebody's in classes with me or working with me, I'm just like, okay, so try the energy. It doesn't work. Try the physical things. Doesn't work. Like, call me, text me, right? If you're stuck, we're good friends to have. I just really want to say that. And the important part is, how long are we going to let ourselves stay stuck? Because I'm going back to the scatological again, because it's a really good picture. If I won't pass that particularly uncomfortable movement, the bowel movement, it's just going to keep getting more and more constipated. It's not going to stop. Mm-hmm. And that there's no good can come of that. But if we exercise and relax and drink water, and just let the uncomfortable stuff come out, then it's a whole different opportunity for our well-being.
Yeah.
I think it's time. Thank you. And I'm sure everybody can tell, like, there's just so much to everything we're talking about. There's so much to it. So it's hard to stop. But here we are.
And we will talk more next season. But thank you so much for being with us. We so appreciate talking with you and sharing this information. And please reach out to us if you want. Leave comments, ask questions. And before we say goodbye, we'll just do a quick little meditation out. So go ahead and just let yourself close your eyes again and find that space where your bright, beautiful heart is illuminated and you're connected to the heart of the earth and to the heart of the sky. And allow yourself the possibility that you are part of that universal life force, that interconnectedness of all that is. And that you are worthy of love. And that you are able and capable of working with energy, of mastering your energy. Let's go ahead and fill up again. Allow yourself to be in that beautiful beingness of light and of love. And with that, we say goodbye to you and send you lots of love and blessings, and we will see you next season on the Mystic Revolution.
Yay!
And that concludes this portion of Mystic Revolution. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get notified of new content. And don't forget to like and share. Join the Mystic Revolution. Click on the link in the description to get more information or visit themysticrevolution.com. Another creative art production by Retro Earth Studio.
The idea of what we're talking about, I know that there are people that are thinking this way all over the world, and when we can find them and unite with them, wow, it can make such a difference.